a little break, but actually we haven't had a complete break from football because we managed to go to a game on Saturday to a club which is on the outskirts of Stockholm, and they're playing Tier 5 over here. Really great facilities, loads of teams run for kids and things. The level they play at, the first team, is probably more or less what we were playing at last year. But we had a great time there, and we managed to speak to the director of football, and so the rest of this little video is talking to her about what goes on at the club.
Good afternoon. So it's a bit strange. This is Seasiders TV, and we're in Stockholm at the moment. So I'm sitting here with Liv, who is the club director of Bull FF, a football team that plays in Division 3 in Sweden. It's about the same level, I would guess, of what we're doing in England at the moment. Now, Liv, as I say, is the club director, and she's very kindly given us some of her time today. Liv, you're the club director of this club, and I know that you have other jobs that you do as well. You're quite a busy person.
But I'm the club director for full time.
You are the club director
for
full time?
Full time,
right.
yes.
Okay, okay. Can you just tell me, how many different teams do you run within the club?
We have about 114 teams in the club, and 2,500 players. And they are from 5 years old we start,
okay.
And 5 years old and 6 years old, it's young instructors, players who are the coaches.
Yeah.
And then when they're 7 years old, then we build the teams and the parents are their coaches.
Okay.
So that's what we have, and it's about 30% girls.
Yep.
Which
okay.
means that we are very large football club for girls, which we are very proud of.
Sure.
Too. Yeah.
And how old are the oldest girls teams?
The oldest, we have the ladies in Division 1.
Okay, so that's adults.
Yes.
Interesting for us was the fact that it didn't cost us anything to get here. I've been trying to think about how this is all financed. So I know you have some sponsorship from local businesses, but how else do you finance this club?
We have the grant from the commune,
from the local council,
county, and from the state.
Yep.
So they give us, and then we have we are trying to have the cost as low as possible, of course. We have some big sponsor, and all the kids playing here are paying the fee for playing here. And I mean, they have a lot of things included in the fee, of course.
Sure.
We don't have a special in the budget saying that this is for them and this is for them and so on. So we just and they are not cost so much, the seniors. We are not paying the players.
You're not paying the players. No. Okay. Now I understand that last year you were playing in Division 2.
Yes, for the boys.
And you took voluntary relegation. You chose to come down. Why did you do that?
We realized that we have a team with players not from our own club. We only have 2 or 3 people, and it was a lot of money to raise football players that was not from here. So that, among other things, we decided to we take them out from Division 2 and we take our own players, and we said that 75% of the team should be from our own club, which we have. And it's a young team. I mean, knew it should be very tough for them this year, but it's still worth it all the way. And much cheaper for us also.
One thing that Karen and I have noticed today was some really interesting and nice integration between some of the younger players, because we saw them practicing before the senior game kicked off, and you've got about 8 or 9 of these younger players as ball boys
Yes.
today. Yeah.
Mm.
Is this a new development you have, or have you had it for some
We have
time?
had it for a few years. It was difficult to get the ball players, but we decided for like 2-3 years old that we take one age, so it's the 8 years. Those ball boys are here, or also the girls for
Yeah.
the girls team. And what we say is that they are coming here, they are working then during the game. In the half time, they get a hot dog and something to
Yeah.
drink. And then we also say that 2 players from the senior team are going to visit them the coming week on their practice, just to show their gratefulness for being there. And that is something that they appreciate a lot when we do it,
That's
when
a
they
great
come.
idea. Yeah, yeah. You also have something which I understand is what I guess we would call a buddy
Yes.
system. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
The Buddy Weeks also started like 3 or 4 years ago, and we were talking a lot about how the older player can be buddies for the younger ones. And we saw it was quite difficult to have something during all the year. So we have 2 weeks in May where the oldest players visit 3 years younger teams. And like 2 or 3 players come down to their practice, and they are talking about how they become the football player that they are, and they are having the practice there. And then the week after, those teams that got visited are visiting 3 years old younger again. There. So I think the youngest one who has been visited is like 9 years old, I think.
Right, right.
And then we try to do it also in the autumn, but then I just send out and say it's time again.
Sure,
And then they do it if they want to.
Yeah.
And it's very much appreciated from the teams that receiving the visiting,
Yeah.
and also the players who are visiting think it's very fun, because it's something that they didn't understand that they will do or manage to do.
Because it sounds like there's a culture of integration, of bringing people together, the younger and the older, and the boys and the girls and the community.
We want the youngest to see up and say, I want to play in that game
Yeah.
that the older one are in. And since we are such a big club, it's difficult to have this connection, or what do you call it, like they might have out in the country.
Before we started talking, I didn't realise just how many teams you had. I knew you had a lot, but that's big.
Yeah, it's big. It's a big club. It's a really big club. It's the absolutely largest out here, and it's like the 5th or 6th in Stockholm, in Sweden, we should say.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
And we only have football. Some clubs have different sports, but we only have football.
Yeah. Well, there's a game going on right at the moment, and I know it's not going particularly well for Bill at the moment, but anyway.
I said it was a tough one.
It's a tough
we
one.
knew it would be a tough one.
I'd really like to say thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us and inviting us up here. It's really, really appreciated. Thank you ever so much, Liv. Thank you.